We will continue from Canto 1, text 8. This is where we ended last time. And many others like Shukadeva Goswami and other purified souls, Kashyapa, Agni Rasa, and others, all accompanied by their respective disciples, arrived there. So we are discussing about all the sages like Parvat Muni, Narada, Dhaumya, Vyasa, incarnation of God. So they're all coming to witness Bhishma Dev's departure from this world. And before departing from this world, Bhishma Dev is going to speak about some transcendental wisdom to the now emperor of the entire world, Yudhishthir Maharaj. So we have anyone to read Sanskrit? Okay. If not, I will read.
Yes,
Okay,
I can.
Akshat, go ahead. Go ahead, Akshat.
Sorry, Prabhuji. I can, yeah. Tan sametan mahabhagan upalabhya vasutatma pujyam asa dharmojnyo desa kala vibhagavit. Translation: Bhishmadev, who was the best amongst the 8 Vasus, received and welcomed all the great and powerful rishis who were assembled there, for he knew perfectly all the religious principles according to time and place. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Akshat Prabhu. Bhishma Dev, who was the best among the 8 Vasus, received and welcomed all the great and powerful rishis while lying on a bed of arrows. Note that. Who were assembled there, for he knew perfectly all the religious principles according to time and place. That means when great personalities come, they should be properly reciprocated, even when you're lying on a bed of arrows. Right? Krishnam cha tat pravavagya ashinam jagat ishwaram hari hridi stham pujayam asa maya mayayopata vigraham. Lord Shri Krishna is situated in everyone's heart, yet he manifests his transcendental form by his internal potency. This very Lord was sitting before Bhishma Deva, and since Bhishma Deva knew of his glories, he worshipped him duly. So Krishna is sitting in the heart of everyone, yet he manifests his transcendental form by his internal potency. This very Lord was sitting before Bhishma Deva, and since Bhishma Deva knew his glories, he worshipped him duly. So Bhishma Dev has always known Krishna to be God. If you remember when Krishna came to kill Bhishma Dev, when Bhishma Dev was decimating Arjuna, Bhishma Dev dropped his weapons and he was ready to be killed by Krishna. He surrendered to the Supreme Lord because he knows to be killed by Krishna is the greatest joy and honor for anyone, what to speak of a devotee and what to speak of a Mahajan devotee. Panduputran upasinan prashraya prema sangatan abhyachasta nuragarshir andhi bhutena chakshusha. The sons of Maharaj Pandu were sitting silently nearby, overtaken with affection for their dying grandfather. Seeing this, Bhishma Dev congratulated them with feeling. There were tears of ecstasy in his eyes, for he was overwhelmed by love and affection. So it's a very happy and sad moment. Why? Because Bhishma Dev practically coddled these Pandavas on his lap throughout his, their childhood. And they were his favorite, especially Arjun was his favorite. And for them to see Bhishma Dev leaving is extremely difficult. Fighting with him was hard, but seeing him leave his body even more so. And for Bhishma Dev was joyful that at least Hastinapur, he took the vow of not marrying anyone. He was dedicated to Hastinapur, right? And he was happy that finally he was able to put it in the hands of the right heir to Hastinapur, the sons of the Pandus. So Bhishma Dev was happy. Pandavas were not happy because Bhishma Dev was leaving. But overall, there is this extreme beautiful emotions exchange that is happening between them. Now, the word of Bhagavatam and Srila Prabhupada's translation is important to note the small, small things. Here it says, seeing that the Pandavas were overtaken by affection, sitting in a corner silently, Bhishma Dev congratulated them with feeling. Often, as we say in materialistic world, there is paradukha dukhi, parasukha sukhi, that is devotional. We see somebody's dukkha, we see somebody's sadness, we empathize with their sadness. We see somebody happy, we empathize with their happiness. But in material relationship, it's opposite. We see somebody happy, we feel sad. Para sukha dukhi, para dukha sukhi. If we see somebody in difficulty, people have smile on their faces. Ah, that person had an accident. Ah, that person lost money. Ah, that person was flying too high. Now look at him. What happened to him? People don't feel empathy. They feel happy for other people's loss. And when other people do well, they feel, oh, that's bad. What am I doing? Right? They compare and there's envy in the heart. Yet, one has to say congratulations according to social custom. So, in this case, Bhishma Deva's congratulations was not a social custom. Bhagavatam is saying he feelingly congratulated them, right? That means he was truly joyful for their new phase of life. Finally, the Kauravas are done, all the darkness is gone. Now they can lead the people into Dharma, right? With their just rule. So that's Bhishma Dev's happiness, and he's lovingly, feelingly congratulating them. Now, also notice when the Bhagavad Gita started, first chapter, that time also Bhishma Dev was there on the side of the Kauravas, and he was doing what was needful, but his heart was feelingly not there because his feelings were for Arjun. And Duryodhana noticed that. He said, you are the one inspiring them, although you're on my side. Right? So he multiple times teased Bhishma Dev. That's when Bhishma Dev took up that vow that tomorrow I will kill Arjuna or get defeated or be killed. Right? There's either this way or that way. So Bhishma Dev didn't have feelings for these guys. He was doing it out of duty, the Kauravas. But for the Pandavas, he was having feelings for them. Same thing with Krishna. Today morning, we were reading in the Bhagavad Gita that Krishna is partial to his devotees. He's impartial to all, but partial to his devotees. Right? Bhishma Dev was a man of principles. He was impartial. He was fighting on the side who was feeding him. The government was on the side of the Kauravas. So he fought for the government. He stood up for Hastinapur, whatever the government might be, but his heart was with the Pandavas. And here he's congratulating them feelingly, and that is his victory. That although he has died, he's dying, he has lost, his side has lost, but Hastinapur has won. The Pandavas have won. Okay, somebody wants to read? Text 12.
I'll read, Prabhuji.
Please.
Aho kashtam, aho nyayam, yad yuyam dharmanandana, jivitum narhatha klishtam, vipra dharma yachuta
Shreya.
saraya. Bhishmadev said, "Oh, what terrible suffering and what terrible injustices you good souls suffer for being the son of religion personified. You did not deserve to remain alive under those attribulations. Yet you were protected by the Brahmanas, God, and religion. Hare
Thank
Krishna.
you, Matish. Aho kashtam. In Bengali, we know kashtam means, difficulty, suffering. Said aho means like, oh, so much suffering, right? Oh, what terrible suffering that you had to go through. Dharma nandanaha, for being the son of Dharma, right? Dharma putra Yudhishthir. He's referring to Yudhishthir, that you had to suffer so much for being righteous, for being a man of religion. Yet you were protected by the Brahmanas, God, and religion. Dharma, dharma rakshate iti rakshate, right? So because Yudhishthir Maharaj stood up for dharma, somehow or other, through Lakshagriha, they had a tunnel to get out. Although they were, Durvasa Muni came, somehow Krishna came to protect them and, satisfied Durvasa Muni's hunger and his 60,000 disciples, right? So many things that this Duryodhan tried, but every time there was always a way out. And if you see in devotees' lives also, every time there's always a way out, right? Somehow or other, yes, struggles are there, difficulties are there, but devotees somehow or other get Krishna's hand and he picks you up at the right time, the right moment. So that's very important to have faith that their life is always difficult. Material life is difficult. But dharmic life has a protection of dharma, God, and the Brahmanas. Brahmanas in today's world would be the gurus, the mentors, the teachers that we have in our society who are there to guide us with Shastra. When I was going through certain difficulties, and I still continue to, certain times I go through difficulty, I always get support from the guidance of my mother, my mentor, my Guru Maharaj, because they will always quote something from the scripture or say some pastime of Krishna, and that goes to protect me from making a mistake or making an emotional decision, right? That is very, very amazing. The protection of Dharma. Uh, my mentor and I, we have been together for 19 years now. And every time there has been a phase, a difficult phase, he would give me a name of Krishna to hold on to. When there was a financial difficulty, he gave me Madhava, husband of the goddess of fortune, Lakshmi Devi's husband. When there was difficulty where, I was like falling down into, certain trials and tribulations, he gave me the name of Achyuta, Krishna, who's unfallable, right? Infallible Lord. Achyuta means who doesn't fall down and who doesn't let his devotees fall down. So there's always been that support of the Brahmanas and the Vaishnavas, where there is protection from leaving Krishna's shelter, right? There was sometimes, one time there was a very strong emotional attachment, and I was, going through that process of being detached. And Guru Maharaj so nicely gave me an email where he told me that material attachment leads to frustration, unmet expectations, and those unmet expectations become frustration and we suffer. So have your attachments towards Krishna and the sadhus. When you attach to sadhu, then those relationships, they don't lead to such problems, because attachment to sadhu means sadhu is attached to Krishna, and thus that attachment actually lifts us out of the materialistic way of life. So when I heard Guru Maharaj's statement, of course, it is said in the scriptures that Guru's instruction comes with the power to implement that instruction in real life. When you listen to the Guru's instruction and you are able to, and you want to apply it, the ability, the empowerment to apply it comes already encoded in the instruction. So I was able to get over that emotional hurdle that I was, the attachment that I was suffering through by taking my Guru's advice and reposing my attachment for materialistic things to spiritual matters, to Krishna and his representatives, right? And thereby, I was a free man. When you attach to Maya, you are practically like her servant, her detainee, as they call it. But when you're attached to Krishna, Krishna's servant is the most free person ever. can't be blackmailed, can't be coerced, can't be lured into doing things, because Krishna is providing everything. What can you give me that Krishna can't? Right? What can you do to me when Krishna is there to protect me? How can you harm me when Krishna is there on my side? So that empowerment, being Krishna's servant, is freeing, is freedom. Being Maya's servant is subjugation. She has the Trishul, Avidhaivik Klesha, Adhyatmik Klesha, Adibhautik Klesha. With that, she's going to cause us pain and suffering until we ask, why am I suffering? Why is there injustice in this world? Where is God? Is there God to save me? Right? That's when she pokes us, that's when we scream out in pain and we look for solution. And that's when we find Krishna. Today only Bhagavad Gita, chapter 10, we were studying Dadami Buddhi Yogam Tam Yena Mam Upayantite. Krishna gives us intelligence with which we can connect with Krishna and hold on to his lotus feet. We can go back to Krishna. Right? Dadami Buddhi. Dadami means I give. Dadami Buddhi Yogam Tam. Buddhi means intelligence. Yoga means to connect. I give you the intelligence to connect back with me so you can come back to me in Golok Vrindavan. So it's very important to understand that holding on to Krishna's lotus feet, attachment to Krishna is freedom. Attachment to Maya is bondage. So how do gurus and Vaishnavas protect us? By giving us such information, right? By giving us this knowledge, thereby we are protected from Maya and we can move towards Krishna. Often Maya has so many minefields, right? Minefield where they have like landmines. You step on a landmine, you're going to die, right? And you don't know where the landmines are because they're hidden under the grass. So Maya Devi is like that. Everywhere she has landmines. So Vaishnavas will tell you, oh, don't step there. There's a landmine hidden there. Oh, there's a landmine over there. Be careful. Oh, you're running too fast. Be careful. There might be few landmines in between, right? When I started being a little bit well known in the startup arena and everywhere, my mentor called me and said, don't get puffed up. I am seeing people are appreciating you. They're saying nice things about you. You're getting awards and everything. Don't get puffed up. And that was very timely because I was starting to expect people to respect me and like, why is nobody standing up when I'm here? Things like that, get to your head. But then as soon as he said that, immediately amani na man dena, right? Give all respect, but don't expect respect in return. Amani na man dena kirtaniya sadadi. That's how you can chant the holy name of Krishna. To become a devotee of Krishna, you need to give respect, not expect respect, right? Don't get puffed up means don't get proud, because when you get proud, it's intoxication. We don't do intoxication. We don't drink alcohol. We don't drink tea, coffee, right? Pride is the highest form of intoxication. So when we get proud, how do you know you're proud? When you start expecting others to treat you in a certain way. When you feel, horrible that somebody didn't say hi to you or didn't give you respect, because you think you're somebody. But humility is knowing I am insignificant, a tiny fragment of Krishna. Krishna is great. All glories to Krishna. For me, somebody recognizes me, doesn't recognize me, doesn't matter. But I must see all beings as Krishna's parts and parcels and give them respect and care to the degree that is possible. Now, we are not perfect. We get angry, we get frustrated. We can't always respect everyone, but whenever we can, to the degree we can, we do our best, keeping in mind their parts and parcels of Krishna. Each and every person having Krishna inside. That means each and every person or being is a temple of God. A squirrel, a rat, an ant, a tree, a human, a cow, a calf, doesn't matter. Super soul within, Krishna's within. So they're temples of God. I was in, uh, where was I? I was at Vrindavan, I think, and there were these mosquitoes. And it's like so many times the mosquito was coming and singing in my ears and finally I just said, Hare Krishna. I went like that. And the devotee next to me was laughing. It's like he's killing a mosquito and is saying Hare Krishna. Because Prabhupada said, uh, don't kill unless they want to, attack you. So don't attack unless they want to attack you. So I was being attacked multiple times. So in retaliation, I had to kill the mosquito. And I didn't want to get dengue either. So I said Hare Krishna. So every action, right? It is There's respect for the mosquito, but the mosquito is doing its dharma, sucking my blood. But then I have to do my dharma, protecting myself. So there's respect for the mosquito. I'm chanting Hare Krishna, but I'm also killing it because I have to protect myself from getting sick, right? So in every action, if you see, when there's Krishna consciousness, there is respect, right? Even when Arjun, or you see in the battlefield of Kurukshetra, there is war happening, there's fight happening. There is still a certain level from the Pandavas side, not from the Kauravas side. From the Pandavas, there is respect, right? There is, yes, I have to kill you, but I'll do it the right way. Unless Krishna says, no, you don't have to do it the right way. They have broken the promise, you can also break yours, and you can do it, because I'm telling you to. Dharmanta sakshat bhagavat pranita. Whatever Krishna says is the law, right? Yudhishthir Maharaj didn't follow the law. Krishna said, you can lie about Ashwadhama. He said, no, I'm Dharmaputra Yudhishthira, I can't lie. Yudhishthira had to suffer. So, going back, that one who is, Vishwadev is saying, that in spite of going through all these terrible things, you held on to religious principles. And thus, you were protected by the Brahmanas, God, and religion. Right? Next verse, somebody wants to read?
Yes.
Please.
संस्थिते तीर्थे पांडव प्रथा बाल प्रजा वधु युष्मत्कृते बहुन क्लेशान प्राप्ता तोकवती मुहुः. Translation: As far as my daughter-in-law Kunti is concerned, upon the great General Pandu's death, she became a widow with many children, and therefore she suffered greatly. And when you were grown up, she suffered a great deal also because of your actions. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. So, Kunti. So, see, Bhishma Dev not only thinking about the men, but also thinking about the single woman, powerful single mother who had suffered through our entire life, not only as a young, princess, queen, but also later on as their kids grew up, because of their uh, gambling match. She had to suffer. She had to go to the forest with them. So throughout her practical life, she has suffered as a woman. And Bhishma Dev is acknowledging that. Now, this is something we should see it as Bhishma Dev's wisdom, his appreciation, but also this is a very wonderful example to see how to leave our body. Now, all of us are young, and I hope all of us live a very, very long life. Uh, you know, go past 100, may Krishna give you a very healthy, happy life. But we will die one day. And we must see this Bhishma Dev's departure or Haridas Thakur's departure of great devotees, of how to leave the body if we live in our conscious mind, how to leave our body, right? So Bhishma Dev, just see, first, he recognizes the Supreme Lord, that he has come, all the great rishis and munis, who are outsiders, but great personalities. So recognizes them. Then he recognizes the struggles and the sufferings of the Pandavas, his grandchildren. And then he's coming to Queen Kunti. So his focus is on everyone that is present. And there is appreciation that he's sharing, acknowledging and appreciating. Sarvam kala krita manya bhavatam cha yad apriyam sapalo yad vashe loko vayuriva ghana valihi. In my opinion, this is all due to inevitable time, under whose control everyone in every planet is carried, just as the clouds are carried by the wind. So, time brings in karma, and that manifests all the happiness and suffering that we have to face. Yatra dharma suto raja gada panir vrikodaraha krishno stri gandivam chapam suhrit Krishna's tato vipat. Oh, how wonderful is the influence of the inevitable time. It is irreversible. Otherwise, how can there be reverses in the presence of King Yudhishthira, the son of the demigod controlling religion? Bhima, the great fighter with a club, the great bowman Arjuna with his mighty weapon Gandiva, and above all, the Lord, the direct well-wisher of the Pandavas. So he's saying that these are invincible people who are directly under the grace of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Yet, such is the influence of time that they have to suffer, right? So it is not just Pandavas, all of us in this material world. We suffer from various things. Suffer from our own mind and body. We suffer from the mind and body of those around us. We suffer from other celestial beings. That means bad weather, bad situation with temperature, heat, cold, global warming, fire, volcano, tornadoes, things like that. So there's suffering constantly. But majorly what we see is the suffering by other living entities around us, whether it's a boss or a spouse or a sibling or a neighbor, etc., or a street dog, something or the other is bothering us. We often don't see our own mind and body that's causing problems. Body we can see because suffering from health issues and all that, but mind is causing the most pain. What do we do in that situation? We blame. We blame somebody else, often not realizing it is how the mind is perceiving is causing the suffering. It might or might not be somebody else on the other side. Because Krishna says in the Bhagavad Gita, that's why we read the Bhagavad Gita before Bhagavatam. We can refer to Bhagavad Gita like this. Krishna says in the Bhagavad Gita, uncontrolled mind is our worst enemy, controlled mind is our best friend. So, given that situation, suffering is throughout, constant throughout our lives. And there is obviously little breaks in between where we feel little happy. What is bringing it forward? Time. Even somebody is very good, very happy, everything is good, body will deteriorate, old age will come, disease will come, death of others will come, then our own death will come. So one has to suffer because of the providence of time. It's a reality check. It's just how it works. Nahyasya karhichid rajan puman veda vidisthitam yad vigyasya yukta muhyanti kavyopihi. O king, no one can know the plan of the Lord Shri Krishna. Even though great philosophers inquire exhaustively, they are bewildered. So time is manifesting things, but Krishna has a plan, right? Especially for us devotees. For non-devotees, what's the situation? Chandrama, would you like to share? Krishna has a plan for devotees, but for non-devotees, what's the situation?
It's dependent on their own karma,
Correct.
Prabhuji.
It's automated by their own karma. Krishna is waiting for them. But for devotees, Krishna has a plan, right? If there is a certain suffering, know for a fact Krishna is training us to try to bring out certain qualities. If there's happiness, Krishna is luring us. There's more happiness. Come to me, come to me. Right? We like certain kirtan, we like certain association. Vrindavan was fantastic, right? Krishna's like, come to Golok Vrindavan. It's even more fantastic, right? So every experience, Krishna has a plan. Krishna is trying to take us back to him, his lotus feet. He has only one plan. His plan is taking us back to his abode, right? And in that process, he might give us a little happiness, a little distress, a little relationship, a little breakup, a little money, a little loss, a little profit, a little gain. But end goal is come back somehow or other. He's telling his child, luring the child back to his abode. So Krishna has a plan, but that plan is impossible to understand. But what can we understand is Krishna's Bhakta Vatsala, that his plan is there. We don't understand it, but it's for our good and it's for a higher purpose. And he will not harm us. He will do that which is good for us, which is best for us, not just good for us, because he's Suhrida Sarvabhuteshu. He's the ever well wishing Supreme Personality of Godhead. Okay, next verse. Somebody wants to read the Sanskrit?
Hare Krishna, Prabhu.
Hare Krishna.
May I read?
Please.
तस्मात् इदं देवतन्त्रं व्यावश्य भारतार्षभ तस्य नु विहितो अनाथ नाथ पाहि प्रजो प्रभो. Translation. O best among the descendants of Bharata, Yudhishthir, I maintain, therefore, that all this is within the plan of the Lord. Accepting the inconceivable plan of the Lord, you must follow it. You are now the appointed administrative head, and my Lord, you should now take care of those subjects who are now rendered helpless. Thank you. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. O best among the descendants of Bharata, Yudhishthir Maharaj, I maintain, therefore, that all this is within the plan of the Lord. So they winning the kingdom, him being the king now. So this is part of Krishna's plan. Accepting the inconceivable plan of the Lord, you must follow it. Right? You might not understand it, but follow the plan. Because often what it might be is like, Arjuna's case in Bhagavad Gita. And he's like, I don't want to fight this war. I want to go to the Himalayas. Krishna has a plan. He wants the Dharma Yuddha to happen. He wants to set example. He wants to annihilate the miscreants. He wants to glorify his devotees. He wants to give the credit to Arjuna. He wants to speak the Bhagavad Gita, right? So Krishna has many plans. His devotee has to align. He has to cooperate with Krishna, right? Krishna has a plan. Our job is to cooperate with Krishna to fulfill his mission, right? For example, Krishna might have a plan that as many devotees as possible from this material world should get the Bhagavad Gita, should get access to bhakti. What do? We follow the four regs. We chant Hare Krishna Mahamantra. We eat Krishna Prasadam. And we learn first and then we share with others what we know. So that's the process. We just follow the process and Krishna's plan manifests in amazing ways. When Russia decided to ban the Bhagavad Gita, right? All these Orthodox church, they had went to the court and they said Bhagavad Gita is a book of war and it must be stopped. ISKCON must be banned. Just like Bangladesh is going on right now, the same thing happened with Russia. So the Orthodox Church people, you'll see videos on YouTube beating up devotees and kicking them and breaking our, harmoniums and breaking our sound systems and things like that. Finally, it went to court. When it went to the court of law, then the judges had to read the Bhagavad Gita. It was all the judges, all the big people, all the lawyers had to read the Bhagavad Gita. So many people reading the Bhagavad Gita. And they were convinced that it's a glorious book of the philosophy of life. It's not a book of war. So the Christians lost the case against ISKCON. And guess what? It was a global marketing for free. And the Krishna consciousness movement skyrocketed in Russia because of this reason. Free marketing. And thus, Russia is the highest concentration of Krishna devotees outside India. So Krishna has a plan. We don't know the plan. We just say, my dear Krishna, this is what you've given me at this situation. Let me do my best with what you've given me. Growing up, I was close to a very powerful politician who was a minister and member of parliament for 36 years. And My mother, I would hear from my mother and father because they would, very closely associate with him, and he would get many ministries: coal minister, information broadcasting minister, customs revenue minister, um, foreign minister. He was in so many departments, and every department he was a minister. He would do his best, and somehow he would stand out for his, good work. Now, growing up, I kept hearing that whatever ministry is given to him, he always makes something good out of it. And that's something, I have also learned, that whatever situation it is, when I was in Chicago, I had a certain situation. I tried my best to make my university a better place. We made our libraries into 24 hours rather than 8 hours a day. We used to have 10 megabytes in our email. We, worked hard to make it 100 MB, right? I won student elections and everything, and doing things to make my university better. We wanted to increase our ranking for our university. Then came my role with ISKCON Chicago specifically. We were the second worst temple in the country in US. From that, with my mentor and his team, we were able to bring the temple to the best temple amongst mid-sized temples in North America. From book distribution, deity worship, prasadam distribution, preaching, you name it, we skyrocketed. So any given situation, right? Whether it's my university, whether it's ISKCON, whether it's my business, whatever Krishna gives, with my limited effort, I try to see, okay, this is now this. Let me try to make the most with whatever Krishna has given me. When that mindset is there, then we don't complain, Krishna, why this and why not that? Because surrender is, Krishna's given me, he has a plan. Let me just work with his plan because he knows better. He is the charioteer. He is on the driver's seat. He will take me to the right place. All I got to do is shoot the arrows in the direction that he tells me to shoot the arrows in, right? Krishna would drive the chariot. Arjun would shoot the arrows. Often Krishna would say, go here. Sometimes Arjun would also say, Krishna, can you go this way? But end of the day, Bhagavad Gita was spoken by Krishna. Krishna had given everything that Arjun needed to hear. And now Arjun was given the freedom to lead the war. So Krishna has a plan. Always remember that. No matter what you're going through in life, difficulties and whatnot. Srila Prabhupada had a bad marriage. His wife would not support him in his Krishna consciousness, would not support him when he would invite sadhus at home, would not support him in writing Bhagavad Gita, translating Bhagavad Gita. She sold the Bhagavad Gita manuscript to buy some tea. Imagine that. So Prabhupada had a bad marriage, but Prabhupada never complained about his wife. He always said, there's a reason for it. Krishna has a plan, right? And when he took sannyas, he said it was so easy for him to leave home and take sannyas because there was no attachment in family affairs, because the family situation, was such. Kids had grown up and the mother never supported him. So there was not that kind of a, feeling of attachment. What will she do? Children have grown up, they can take care of the mother. So Prabhupada dedicated his next 14 years of his life in spreading Krishna consciousness in the Western world, right? Krishna had a plan. Did Prabhupada think of remarriage? Yes. Prabhupada's father told him, Krishna had a plan. You have this marriage. Life is not about having a perfect marriage. Life is about going back to Godhead. So Prabhupada was told not to marry for the second time. And Prabhupada struggled through his life with his situation, and eventually he was able to give up family life, take up sannyas. And because of his struggles in the last 14 years and throughout his life, we all exist today, right? So it's important to understand that there is something much bigger at play. Krishna is not a small thinker. He is a much bigger player than we are. We can see this much. He can see past, present, future. So trust Krishna. And in his plan, we have a very, very nice, unique role to play. And that is our great fortune that he has included us in his plan. Imagine, right? Lord Ramachandra decides to build the bridge across the ocean. And the squirrel has a role to play. So does Hanuman. How great is Hanuman? There's nobody more strong and more powerful than Hanuman. He can lift mountains. Krishna lifts mountains. Hanuman can lift mountains. How powerful is Hanuman? And Lord Ramachandra is given the squirrel the same privilege as Hanuman. This is our God. Our Krishna, our Lord Ramachandra, they're not like, oh, you're very good looking, you're very rich, you're this, you're that, so let me give you more mercy. No, to him, everyone matters. Everyone is equally important, regardless of what gift they have or they don't have. The Supreme Lord is the most loving Lord, the most loving God you can imagine, right? If Krishna has a defining quality, it is his loving nature. And that is why Srimati Radharani is so dear, because Radharani embodies that loving nature. Krishna also loves that about himself, his loving nature. So, this is the God of love, and that's what defines him. He's not the judgmental God that we hear in Abrahamic religions. You go to hell, you go to heaven. Not like that. But this is the loving God. And he's defined by how much he cares about the squirrel as well as the Hanuman. How much he cares about Arjun and how much he cares about each one of us, insignificant Kali Yuga personalities. We are part of Krishna's plan. It is our great privilege. And when we execute on that plan, we are part of Krishna's army, Krishna's friend circle, Krishna's entourage. Can you imagine that? Being in Krishna's entourage? That's the great access we have been given. By being part of this plan, by being part of the bhakti process, by being part of ISKCON, we are in Krishna's family. And that's why when we take initiation, when we get this Kantimala, our Gotra changes. We are called Achyuta Gotra. Why? Because Achyuta is Krishna. So we are becoming Krishna's family. So from Kashyap Gotra or Shandilya Gotra or this Gotra, that Gotra, we become Achyuta Gotra. We are part of Krishna's family. There could be nothing more honorable than that, nothing more privileged than being part of Krishna's family, Krishna's army, and Krishna's plan. So that's what Bhishma Dev is referring to. That you might not understand Krishna's plan, but you execute it nevertheless. O best among the descendants of Bharata, Yudhishthir, I maintain therefore that all this is within the plan of the Lord. Accepting the inconceivable plan of the Lord, you must follow it. You are now the appointed administrative head, and my Lord, you should now take care of these subjects who are now rendered helpless. So, being in a position of power means what? To subjugate others? No. Being in a position of power means to serve those who are helpless. Kshatriya means one who protects from shata or harm. One who protects from harm is a Kshatriya. So one who's a king, he's a servant of all. He's there to serve all his citizens, especially those who are weak. The Brahmanas, the cows, the elderly, the children, Mother Earth. These are the various uh, citizens that or various segments of citizens that need protection according to our Dharma Shastra. So a Kshatriya, a king, is supposed to protect and preserve, not exploit and enjoy. Right? Text 18. Somebody wants to read?
Hare Krishna, can I read?
Please. You want me to zoom in?
Bhagavan Saksad. Okay. Puman Mohayan Maya Lokam Gudhascharati Vrishnishu. Translation. This Sri Krishna is no other than the inconceivable original personality of Godhead. He is the first Narayana, the supreme enjoyer. But he is moving amongst the descendants of Sri Vishnu, just like one of us, and he is bewildering us with his self created energy.
Hare Krishna. So,
Hare Krishna.
Dev is directly, addressing Krishna as the Supreme Personality of Godhead. So often we get asked, how do we know Krishna is God? Right? It must be just some, great man with a lot of magical powers and stuff like that. So Bhagavad Gita, Arjuna is saying that I'm not saying that you're God. I'm saying that you're God, but it is corroborated by Narada, Devala, Asita, great rishis like that. And then now we are seeing Mahajanas like Bhishma Dev. These are not stupid people. These are the best and the brightest. These are not emotional fools who'll just say, oh, you're God, like people will do with Rajnikant or with Amitabh Bachchan, make temples of them. It's not like that. These are great, people with huge history, great credibility. They've done all right things in life. They're super intelligent, super sharp in everything they do. They're dexterous. And these personalities are saying, Krishna, this is the supreme person of Godhead who's walking amongst us just like one of us. But he is God. He is Narayan himself. Right? He's the original Narayan, rather, the origin of Narayan. This Sri Krishna is none other than the inconceivable original personality of Godhead. He is the first Narayan, because Narayan can have expansions, the supreme enjoyer. But he's moving amongst the descendants of King Vrishni, just like one of us. And he is bewildering us with his self-created energy, or Maya Shakti. Okay, next verse.
Prabhuji, I had a question.
Yes.
I was just wondering, what is the difference between Lord Vishnu and Lord Narayan? Is there any difference?
Yes.
Can you please explain, Prabhuji?
Lord Narayan resides in Vaikuntha, in the spiritual world. And his expansion, or rather, Vishnu is the expansion of Shankarshan, who's a form of Narayan, from who resides in the material area, right? Mahavishnu. So Mahavishnu, and then we know from him the universes come, and Mahavishnu expands into Karanadakshay Vishnu, Garvadakshay Vishnu, and others. So Vishnu is here, preserving, maintaining our material universes. Narayan is sitting in Vaikuntha. Clear?
Yes, Prabhuji.
Okay.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji.
Hare
I
Krishna.
too had a question.
Yes.
Prabhuji, in case of devotees, um, in Bhagavad Gita, we read that there is no positive or negative karma, it is akarma, uh, where Krishna takes everything away. But in case, like, even if the devotee makes some mistake, so will it be still akarma, or they will have to face the repercussions of that?
Yeah. So devotee means pure devotee. When you are a pure devotee, you're doing pure devotional service. In that way, whatever you're doing is akarma. We are mixed devotees. We are getting there.
Mm-hmm.
So part of us is pure, part of it is impure. So there is that impure side where there is karma and there is reaction for that. And part of our side is akarma, which there is no reaction for, which is paving our path towards Krishna's lotus feet. But we don't have to keep a track of that. End of the day, if we are sincerely trying to move towards Krishna, at the end, he'll burn it all out with bhakti, with chanting of holy names and Guru's mercy. And when you get initiated, especially, Guru takes on all that karma, right? All your past lives karma. And he's burning it out with his devotional service. So we are taken care of. Having said that, we should not become complacent, but we don't have to keep a track of, oh, I am a mixed devotee, hence I have this much karma, I have to live for this, I'd have to be born again. Focus on Krishna. He'll take care of the rest. As our propensities are not pure yet, slowly, he'll mold us. As we keep devotionalizing, even if there's a drop of devotion in our heart, that will have an impact where we are slowly molding towards Krishna's lotus feet. So, does that answer your question?
Yes, Prabhuji. But my question actually rose when we discussed Yudhishthir Maharaj, right? And he did not listen to Krishna completely regarding this Ashwatthama, and you mentioned that he had to face the.
Yes.
But he was a pure devotee at the same time. So that's where my confusion
So
started.
if you're a pure devotee and you're not acting in pure devotional service, you will have to face the
Hmm.
consequences.
Right. Yeah,
Basically,
because he
pure
went
devotee means
against Krishna.
you are acting in pure devotional service. But mind, you always have free will not to. He got attached to his whole not lying,
Duty.
being a truthful person, to that
Hmm.
sattva guna. He got attached to that. And for that, he was disobeying the Supreme Lord, forgetting that the Lord's words are the dharma.
Got it, Prabhuji. Yeah. Thank you, Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Any other
Prabhuji,
questions? Yes.
Prabhuji, in this context, you also mentioned earlier, like when Leelas happen, these are the
Yes.
constructs that, is there to teach people
Yes.
lessons.
Yes.
Right, just want to confirm, yeah.
That too. So it's both happening. Understand? Yudhishthir Maharaj disobeying Krishna. We should understand it as it is, that yes, he did what he did and consequences are there. Also, that's another layer that you mentioned, that Krishna might have put him in that situation so that he could teach us a lesson. That, hey, look at that. My words is the dharma, right? So when we have a question mark whether it's ethic, moral versus Krishna conscious always takes priority, right? Over ethics, morality, and anything of that sort. Generally, everything that we do, Krishna conscious was is ethics and ethical and moral. But in case there is a dilemma situation, Krishna's words always come first. Bhagavad Gita comes first. Okay, any other questions? We have 4 more minutes. Anybody wants to share a realization? Anything anybody wants to share from Vrindavan? For those who couldn't go to Vrindavan?
Hare
Okay.
Krishna Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna Mataji.
Seema here. Today, I would really want to thank Sir Vanu from the heart. Initially, he said there'll be no class, and then he actually called me up to tell me there's a class. And today, each and every word seemed like, it was just for me.
That's the
So,
glory of Srimad Bhagavatam.
yeah, seriously. And I'm so, feeling peaceful and blessed now. And a lot of things have cleared, and, the cloud seems to be like much, much more clear sky. So, thank you so much.
Thank you, Mataji. Actually, what you just said is in the Srimad Bhagavatam. The shining glory of Srimad Bhagavatam is like the sun that uh, makes the darkness cloud of material world disappear.
Wow.
And you said it.
Hare
Krishna has
Krishna.
really touched your heart.
Yeah.
Thank you, Mataji, for sharing that.
Thank you, Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Okay. Anything anybody else wants to share?
Prabhu, just wanted to mention something like Seema Mataji just said. Like I also felt I told you also like like if I'm going through something in my life and I have questions regarding something, a class you take answers all the questions and I am left with no questions, and I have this happened multiple times, and I am sure like many of the devotees also have mentioned felt that. I'm just wondering, like, how is that happening? Is that a construct or like?
It's how
Um,
Krishna works in our lives. Somehow or other, through some medium or other, Krishna loves us so much that he knows what we have in our heart, and he allows uh, that to manifest through the association of devotees. So it is, your great privilege that Krishna has taken so much interest in your life that, he is personally making sure that you're getting satisfied for whatever questions you might have. Each one of us are very fortunate that way. Krishna is taking personal interest because we are part of his plan. We are cooperating with his plan, so we are very close to Krishna. And thus, he is very actively involved in our lives. It's our great privilege.
glories to you, Prabhuji, for taking the classes for us.
I am simply a parrot. All right. Thank you very much. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Srimad Bhagavad Gita ki jai. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Hare
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.